Hello people, I'm Andy and you're watching InfoTek channel. My favorite blog now, talking about IT careers, talking about IT job market, how to build a good career, how to build a better life. Right now we are in August of 2024 and we have less than 4 months before we elect a new president in November. On one side we have a pro-conservative Republican Party candidate Donald Trump. On the other side, we have pro-liberal Democratic Party candidate Kamala Harris. As a quick disclaimer, I'm not affiliated with any of these parties. I don't care who wins as long as it drives quality of our lives up. I personally immigrated to this country a long time ago following American dream. So I wanted a better life for myself and for my family. Back in that time, I legally applied for United States citizenship and I received it. And now I want to know, and many Americans want to know what to expect in 2025 and forward. What to expect in terms of jobs, wages, are we gonna get better economically or worse? Or we will stay the same, but frankly, we're not doing very well economically. And the level of deficit and inflation is just scary. So we want a way of predicting what to expect after this November. I decided to record this prediction video because all I can find on YouTube sounds like this.
First question, what's your job market prediction for 2025? It's hard to say right now because in 2022, they hired a lot of people, but second half of 22 they fired a lot of people. Maybe after the election's over they will be hiring again, but also since AI came in, I think the productivity has increased per person, so it's hard to say what's going to be the job predictions for next year. Seeing that Amazon has laid off a lot of people, it's just overall hard, and I don't want to give hopes to anyone.
So people are afraid of giving us predictions, but hear me out. In the recent past, we've been under Trump's administration and pretty much we know what to expect. We've seen it from 2016 to 2020. Also, we've been under Biden/Harris administration in the last 4 years, and it's going to be safe to assume that Harris is going to continue Biden's course, right? So we have data points to actually predict the future with either of these candidates. First, let's talk about inflation and stock market. Inflation from 2016 to 2020 under Trump's administration. It's very easy to Google. It's gonna take very little time to find that inflation was more than manageable under Trump, meaning it was between this 3 to 6%. That is typically expected. And stock market, oh boy, I still remember that because I just entered stock market. I start trading, privately via Robinhood and Webull. When I started my position with Amazon Web Services, it was a cloud support, database support position. So I started making pretty good money and I was able to afford trading stocks. Trading back then was a blast. I mean, big corporations, all solid companies, something like AWS, right? Amazon stock, or Tesla, or Apple, Nvidia, pretty much any solid stock was going up like crazy. I mean, some of the stocks got 4 times more expensive. So trading was very good. You could make a lot of profit with very minimal investment from 2016 to 2019. Gosh, I still remember how I invested approximately 30 grand in 2017, and by the end of 2018 I had 60k in my investment portfolio. When inflation is low and at the same time stock market grows, people get more relaxed. Companies can afford to hire more people. They're not worried about laying off some personnel. Also under Trump, a lot of companies received tax cuts, as well as individuals received some tax cuts, not a lot, but still it was a positive direction to go. While under Biden's administration, it was the exact opposite. You all see what's happening with stock markets, and you see what's happening with inflation. And I mean, it's not even funny. Some sources say inflation is 13-14%. Other sources tell us that inflation is more than 20%. But when we go to a grocery marketplace, grocery store, and we buy food, we actually see that almost everything got 2 times more expensive, which means inflation is 100% at least. I've seen even calculations that show even bigger number. So it's all sad, and it translates into individuals losing the quality of life. They can afford less, and companies also feel that stress and strain, and they're afraid of hiring people for a permanent W-2 position for full-time employment. They start preferring contracts, which is short-time employment, because they are uncertain of the future economically. And it's on the surface. I personally remember how in 2017 I was buying a specific bread from Whole Foods for $3.50, and now this bread is $6 or $7. Now, gas prices, oil prices, and utilities. Gas and oil. Again, you can quickly Google that as soon as Trump got elected in 2016, very quickly gas prices came down to less than $2 per gallon. Literally, like these prices were last seen somewhere in 1991 or 1993, right? So whenever gas price drops, it actually drives all prices down, because all deliveries, all like flight tickets, like anything that's related to bringing these goods to the store, to transporting them from one place to another, from warehouse to the store and so on, largely dependent on gas price, right? If gas is more, you will see a price increase in all products across all the boards. Regarding utilities, specifically electricity and water and things like that, under Republican Trump, the increase was either minimal or no increase at all. Now with Biden-Harris, we all know that pretty much all utilities raised in price by a lot. Now, seeing these tendencies, we can safely assume and predict what will happen economically with United States of America after 2025, based on either Donald Trump winning election or Kamala Harris winning election. How will it all reflect on IT job market and on job market in general in North America? Let's see. Here's analytics and predictions I found online in Quora and Reddit, since there is no prediction or reliable information on YouTube. Now, this is an article I found in Reddit. There are a lot of questions like that, but the most interesting point is responses from actual recruiters with years and years of experience. Here's the question: when is the job market going to stabilize again? Logically, and following current economics and political events, when is the job market going to be back to normal, or at least close to normal? And here's one of the responses I specifically want to highlight. The guy says, recruiter here, the job market on election years is always a shit show. So that means that regardless of which candidate wins, actually right before election and right after election, we should not expect any improvement in job market or IT job market in particular. Then, the temp contract market is usually stronger in election years, but companies hold out to see what the economy will look like. Again, that's something I mentioned before. Companies are more inclined to give you a short-term employment. It's when they are under economical stress, all right? And when that stress is relieved, company is inclined to offer long-time positions, like full-time employment, W-2 type of employment. Then it says, clients will tell us often they are waiting until after the election to start their search for people. But they want recruiters to start looking a year in advance. Hard pass. I've been doing recruiting for 25 years and it never fails. Hiring freezes, useless searches that they cancel, etc. Again, let's step back. Somewhere in 2020, I switched to a new role that was database administration, and I worked with tech systems company. They gave me a contract to work for an American website and company that sells wine. It was called wine.com. So you see, it's a local business. It's a big business. They sell wine in all 50 states, but still it's like local to United States. They offered a contract position. Because imagine that, even though your business is going well and you sell a lot of wine, you need a small IT team to support your website, correct? Like install something, maintain databases, maintain storage, do upgrades and all this kind of stuff, or do a migration. Let's say your company wants to migrate from Postgres database or SQL Server database to Aurora Postgres with Amazon Web Services. For this particular effort, they allocate 3 to 6 months, and they know they will need to hire 4 people for this short period of time. Once the effort is over and it's successful, they lay off these people. Just try to understand the logic behind that. If it's a relatively small company, they need to hire 10 IT employees. Each employee is going to cost them at least $100K a year. If you hire 10 people, it results in $1 million expense on their salary. So you see how much wine do you need to sell to be able to pay to IT employees only for these 10 people $1 million every year. That is why they try to avoid this expense on a constant basis. That is why they offer contracts. That is why IT personnel is continuously moving from one contract to another. 3 to 6 months, sometimes even 2 months, that needed for a specific effort, and they get laid off. And it's very easy to fire people when they work on a contract basis. And it's harder to fire people that are full-time employee with benefits and all that. So it will take extra steps. You will need to give them grace period. You will need to pay for next 3 to 6 months for them to look for another job and stuff like that. That is why middle-sized companies and small companies prefer contract-based positions. That is why it's never stable and IT employees suffer. They are under constant strain. Now, another interesting article I found on finance.yahoo.com, and you see, I'm trying to be unbiased here. I don't want to really take one side or another. I just operate with facts. I lay out facts and my personal opinion based on these facts, and then you make something out of it. Here's another article that says the Trump trade is fading. All right, basically it's tied up to the fact that now polls show that Kamala Harris tied with Republican nominee Donald Trump, and in some cases even ahead of him, as you can see here in the article. I will put all these articles in the description for this video, so don't hesitate to go there and read and try to get more educated on the topic. So, and just like that, the Trump trade has lost all momentum, and the Trump trade is a set of investment choices premised on Trump winning a second presidential term, right? So there is such a term as Trump trade, or a specific set of stock in the stock market that will go up or down based on Trump winning or losing the election. Same will happen for a Democratic Party nominee, right? They also have a set of stocks they tied up to this particular candidate. So right now, Trump trade is not doing very well. Also keep it in mind, right? So nothing is really set yet. Nothing is 100% known. It keeps changing by weekly basis, right? So keep an eye on what's going on with trade market. Again, the basic premises for the Trump trade are that Trump would slash regulation, raise tariffs on imports, keep taxes low or cut them further, as he was doing in his first presidential term. So we can expect that. And he will ignore the mushrooming national debt. He probably has a way to deal with increasing national debt, because it increases under each and every president at unprecedented values, and it keeps increasing regardless of Republican Party ruling or Democratic Party ruling. And again, as I said previously, I will try to be unbiased, and this is another chart that Yahoo Finance shows you here in this article. Again, article is going to be in the description for this video. I'm not sure if you guys heard about this term called Bidenomics, but here's the Bidenomics report card, basically showing how economy was doing under Biden. And I believe it was first shown somewhere on CNN, like pro-Democratic Party social media or TV channel. And it was supposed to show that under Biden, we actually had better economical results. Like we've been doing better economically under Biden rather than any other president before him. And you see, it starts with Carter and Reagan. Like it goes very far back. Also, it includes Trump right here, right? And Obama. And you see with the blue color, these lines with blue color, is Biden compared to green light for each other president that was before Biden, right? So when you click on jobs, in all cases, in all Trump, Obama, Bush, Clinton, Reagan, Carter, it looks like Biden is doing better. Like the number of jobs is growing. And if you go to MFG jobs, it's actually very similar situation, right? Aside of Trump, Biden was doing better than any other candidate or any other president in the United States. By the way, job cuts happened at the very, very end of Trump's term. So I don't really remember what created this surge, this drop. If you guys have any additional information, please share it in the comments, because I could not find any information about this particular drop here, right? But everywhere you can see that blue colored line looks like increase, and it shows better result than any other president except maybe Carter, right, for MFG jobs. Now with inflation is higher under Biden almost in any case, right, compared to any other president. So that's what we discussed before. But even more interesting part is when you check income, right? So let's say jobs, yeah, they are growing under Biden, but what kind of jobs are created? Is it something when we produce goods and our economy grows, or we create just, I don't know, social worker type of job, or social program workers are added to the field, right? And these type of jobs are just employment for the employment's sake. All right, they're not bringing anything to the table. They are not helping to grow economy. Like if you employ more people to work in social studies, right, or social program maintenance, you know, like maintaining the number of people that are placed on social programs. So these kind of jobs are created, and it shows as an increase here. But when you go to income and compare how income was growing under Trump versus Biden, that tells us a very interesting story. So you see how if you compare Trump to any other president before him, the growth of income on average, it's like across all platforms, across all jobs, is huge. The increase is very big under Trump. And when you see the blue line, which is Biden, right after he came to office, you can see it was declining up until this point and then slightly trying to grow back, but it never even reached the starting point. All right, so we see the increase in income only under Trump. So that tells us something. Just imagine you live in a household, you are one of the adults, like mother or father in the family, and these two adults work in the household. And elderly, like retired people or kids, they don't work, right? If one of you, mother or father, loses job, the other one, his wages keep increasing, right? Which creates a better grounds for the whole families to survive. The whole household will be at less strain, even if only one adult is working, because his salary keeps increasing and increasing rapidly. While if similar situation will happen under Biden, here blue line, and one of the adults in the household is losing job, gets cut, laid off at work, then there is no increase but only decrease in the income for this only one person who works in the household. So that makes it even harder to survive in a similar situation. So it's still preferred to be under Trump than either Biden or Harris administration for that matter. All right, I'm super happy you watched the entire video. Now, after reading all the articles I showed you and after comparing all the charts from this video, try to make an educated decision. I think it's easy to assume right now that our country, United States, is gonna do economically better under Republican nominee for the President of the United States. It's a no-brainer, pretty much everybody knows that. But how about jobs in IT? How about IT job market in the future, in the next 4 years? Well, if you plan to work in social study field, if you are in IT that supports social programs in general that are related to federal government, probably you will be better off working under Kamala Harris administration. However, if your IT work is related to all other fields, it's gonna be still hard to find a job. Right now, the competition is crazy. If some 8 years ago, you could go on job market, apply for 2 weeks and receive at least 10 calls from prospective companies or recruiters, then nowadays you can apply for IT job for 2 weeks and receive 1 or 2 phone calls from recruiters, and they're going to be very flaky on you because they've got tons of candidates. They've got literally hundreds on their list for that same position. So if they don't like at least one slightest thing in your answers, they just keep moving on to the next candidate and next one and next one. They never even get back or follow up with you nowadays. Well, now you probably know how I'm gonna vote in this November of 2024. So you go vote, but be smart. Base your decision on facts. Don't listen to what politicians say. Watch what they do. Again, I'm not asking you to vote for a specific candidate. That's up to you. If you need more information about IT job market, how to pass interview, how to find a better job, feel free to visit my channel and dig more for information. As usual, I wish you success, and until next video, God bless and take care.